It's UFA opening weekend, and history is on the line here in New Rochelle. There's a new disc, a new season, new life for the Montreal Royal, who have come off a tight loss to the Boston Glory last night up in Boston, but have made the trip down to New York as the New York Empire. They have their home opener here at Joseph F. Facina Field. A little bit of wind, but still buzz, energy, pressure, excitement, all those different things. Welcome to the booth. Dan Hilton and Keith Rayner here on WatchUFA.tv. And Jonas in hot pursuit of Kevin Grew. Kevin Grew likes to throw deep, and this time around he finds Day. So Montreal O-line, this D-line for the Empire did make them work, but they did feel like they understood their system. They understood who was going to be open. Enact their will early in the season when these teams maybe aren't as refined. Weinberg goes deep. Yacht in double coverage. And somebody got a piece of it for Montreal. I think that was Tremblay-Jonca again. Brother Elliott unavailable for today's game. So he gets to start on the O-line. And they're running things through the Dartmouth product. Puts a little money on it. And into Jack Williams in the end zone. That second version, after the turn that they got back, was probably the cleanest version of the O-line. That's two, almost. So 198 plus 2 asterisk says hammer over the top. What a catch from Grew! An early highlight in the Montreal Royal season. The wind took the hammer, and with a full extension, Kevin Grew. Grew coming back to it, but Antoine there. Brownlee, that's a little short. DeCraney on the outstretched hands of Breton Tan, couldn't get to it. And Quinlan, they all count the same. It doesn't matter how many throws, and I might be guarded out of this game, and DeCraney has been so far unafraid of the mark of Antoine Davis. Haberfield lets this one fly. Jack Williams with a beat on it, and Jack doesn't have to go to ground. Use those long strides getting to it. The first huck completed from Haberfield, and that kind of combination.
What a playmaker.
Again, showing up on day one as one of the best athletes in the entire league. And now he lets this one fly. And beautiful edge from DeCraney for Quinlan again.
Am I looking at new superstar receiver Kevin Quinlan? What's happening?
I think you might be looking at new superstar Toby DeCraney a bit. The year before, 2016, 13, 28, and 3 blocks.
Very fiery player who plays a possession-based style. Speaking of fiery.
Well, speaking of blocks, as the only man in UFA history with over 200 blocks in Ryan turnovers, they were a bit more often than they are now in 2024. The league is a bit tighter with the handling. And the joke always is that they would let Mike get there first, or they would get there together, but Ryan couldn't oblige as the Empire offense obliges to make things clean. Picking up Lacombe Bourgoin. Quinlan. The backhand. Bonneau on the doorstep. And easily finds the Belgian again. It at least worked to get him to throw it horizontally instead of downfield.
Raphael Lalonde just trying some new stuff, give something new to look at.
It is the first game of the season, so yeah, you want to work through everything. Very clean from the Empire offense again. It's Haberfield in the end zone.
Look, everybody thinks that we are still this 0-12 team. That is not representative of what we can bring to the field. Antoine Davis with the hand block on DeCraney, who had a fantastic first half and got the better of that matchup, but Davis strikes first here in the second.
Yeah, Davis arguably had a quiet first half by his standards, lofty standards, he said, at championship weekend. Fortin on the sideline. Finds Randolph again. And of course, John Randolph with the ability to go every other, but they work it with Brownlee. Jeff Holm, not into the end zone. Little flick over the top for Breton Tan, his first goal of the season. Bernard, full layout. Thought he might have got a call for a strip, but referees don't agree. The refs so far have really let everybody play so far today.
John Randolph crossing over to play with the O-line. Had a turnover a moment ago, but now is in his favorite place. This is just a day at the office for JR.
Yeah, red zone Randolph. As Randolph to Jack Williams, still not in, and finds Weinberg at the front of the end zone. So the Empire survive another turnover, make it 13-9 a few times, and so the D-line was coming out on O-line points. It's a high stall count, and Breton Tan lays out, knowing there was only one spot for it to go. Now 22 seconds for the Empire D-line. Brownlee, Breton Tan, Davis on his horse. Brownlee again, Randolph in the front of the end zone. Blink and you'll miss it. This Empire counterattack, as deadly as there is in the league.
Know that this organization will be really proud to claim that record should they be able to close out this fourth quarter, but Montreal's not going to give it to them.
DeCraney goes up to St. Pierre, who, while he has had a quiet day, full extension there from Randolph, but St. Pierre had a beat on it. What a highlight that might have been for Randolph, but in St. Pierre.
He put up 248 with a pair of blocks against Boston last night.
Almost a Callahan, but instead just a block on the D-line. Quinlan to DeCraney, and who's made the biggest commute of anybody on the field coming from Belgium. DeCraney lets it fly to Bonneau. Russell will have to go up with it, and in traffic, Bonneau. It was Tan and Russell to give some pressure, but Bonneau has come back, and his star status remains for Montreal, back to a 4-goal game.
In 2023, he might have been Kent off, but now he's Kent on. He went up for that one and brought it down over 2 defenders, and DeCraney, there's no throw he's afraid of. Schedule projection is always a little interesting. I mean, you might think this Montreal team's a cupcake matchup, but they have proved to be a bigger handful than that.
Yeah, nothing about this game has said 0-12 last season. Randolph in small space. Chartok back to Randolph, and that should be the dagger. 18-14. D-line, in theory, won this game, and when the Empire need to settle everything down, moving John Randolph over to the O-line is what I feel like changed things there for the Empire. So I guess by default I go with John Randolph, but to me, I think it's in a losing effort, it's still made DeCraney.
Yeah, and while it may be subjective who is the player of the game, it is objective that New York now has the longest win streak in UFA history. 31 straight wins for the Empire and climbing.
Yeah, they now own 2 of the all-time 5 longest UFA winning streaks, but this is the one that is going to be tough with how good, how talented this league is, and New York doesn't look like they plan on stopping anytime soon.